wearing their gas mask and everything, and they're like, "You dumbasses!" Oops, excuse me. Get away, you know. Right. And then all of a sudden, you just see like 30 people running for their lives with their eyes tearing and stuff. And I'm just like, I come in on the end of that. You know, I get the tail end of that. I swoop in when everyone clears out, and I'm like, I'm good for today. Thank you.
Nice.
I'm a nitro geezer, trust me. But you know, it's definitely very unique. Once it's combusted and burned, the smell that it does give off. The first few times I've gone to, you know, a real Top Fuel event when I was a kid, I'll never forget it.
Right, absolutely.
You know, but the other name I wanted to mention, besides, and we'll go back to New York and relation with Nitro Harleys and stuff, it was Tony Mattioli back in the 80s. He was one of the guys I grew up around when we used to race a dirt drag bike. Me and my father built a Honda that we raced on the dirt. That was our big thing. So we did a lot of dirt drags. And a lot of, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is because a lot of the people who race in this Nitro Harley world now came from dirt drags.
Oh.
And there are guys racing Nitro Harleys on the dirt. Which
That's
is
wild.
Insane. Tony Mattioli, back in the 80s, ran a panhead on the dirt.
Wow.
And probably one of the fastest panheads I've ever seen in my life.
Wow.
And he was pioneering the Evo engine when it first came out into the Nitro world. That was when Harley went to the newer Evo engine and got away from the shovelhead
84
generation. And that's why I brought up the whole thing about quad cam, because I think that's one of the problems they had, was they can never really get a single cam Harley engine to really be a Nitro bike. You know, I think they have, but it's not too common, I think.
Right.
And everything is still based off of quad cam. So when everyone jokes about a Sportster,
I was going to say,
a girl's bike.
Interesting you say that, because the Harleys up to the they were all single cam except for the Sportster, which had dual cams.
Sportster? No, quad cam.
Yeah, quad. You're talking quad now, but the early ones had the you had two for the.
Oh, right. But you know, Harley had a twin cam design in the works, I think, years and years and years ago. But you know, Indian came out with that patent because the Indian Chiefs had twin cam. Right. So I think that's why Harley couldn't do it. But that's all old history. And stuff.
It's old.
But you know, think about it. 2017, they're still greasing rockers.
Yeah. Hey, it works.
Something's just working.
Listen, it's just like the people.
A simple thing.
It's just like the people who love the foreign cars, and they've been thumbing their noses at us for like pushrod engines still, but the Corvette still kicks ass because on the Porsches and the Audis, because in the big races, because it works.
Yeah.
You know,
if people right now listening, go pull up some YouTube videos. I have videos myself. I've taken off Nitro Harleys, but you'll literally can watch the push rods going up and down. There's no covers, nothing. Yeah. It's very, very simple motor. There's nothing to it.
Right.
And it makes all of that power. And you're taking a motorcycle that's 500 horse and you're going 720s with it at 185. When I worked for Orient Express and we were building the Suzukis, we ran turbocharged bikes, and we were running a non-wheelie bar production class, and we went 201.
Wow.
Holy crap.
In the quarter at a 720.
How long was the swing arm on that bike?
Well, we were only running 68-inch to... I think we were limited to 68-inch wheelbase.
Okay. All right.
And we had to run a Mickey Thompson DOT approved. So it was basically a slick with grooves in it, like it was a DOT approved tire.
Right.
And that was part of the rules, as per rules, in Pro Street class of AMA, which is not around anymore, actually. But they still run those bikes. Those bikes are now well into, the sixes now.
Yeah.
No wheelie bar.
Wow, that's
and
impressive.
Because it's turbocharged, you can control the boost. So basically, you can get the bike to 60 foot, and they got the 60 foot of that down to like a 120s now.
Okay,
and then the boost controller can ramp your boosting as you build down the track and plug away at your gears. These Nitro Harleys, they relied on pneumatics controlling the clutch. That's why she was talking about the clutch height.
Sure.
And the clutch height is all, basically, that's just, they twist the wick and you're on a bomb, and there you go.
I was smiling because just when I ran a street Harley and set up my clutch, I used the vernier caliper to make sure that the hat pulled evenly. And guys were riding my bike, like, wow, how come your clutch is so easy? Like, it's not hydraulic, it's a cam. I'm like, well, because I paid attention to the clutch hat,
You have to.
And I was using a 3-stud, not a 5. And some of the other guys were like, I was like, listen, just get in there and adjust the damn thing. Do a little due diligence. But
clutch is very important, especially in drag racing, because even from track to track. And as conditions change, it's all, I mean, even in funny car or anything like that, it's the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
You know, half the runs that are blown, you know, when these guys are out there, they blow the tires away half 60 foot because the clutch just locked up too much or something. You
know, when you know there's a separate technician, there's a clutch technician, that's his job.
The whole part of it. Even Nitro teams now, they have their own clutch service, they surfaces and everything too. They have the whole machine and everything. So when they service a clutch, it's like they service it.
You know, back in the late 60s into early 70s, Billy Lynch had a clutch surfacing machine in his race trailer. He was the only guy that had one back then on site at the racetrack, and he would resurface the clutch in between runs to keep consistency. And he had guys coming over begging, you know, please resurface my clutch.
And I don't know if you remember Bradley Racing used to have a trailer that used to open sideways, like the whole side of the trailer used to open up, and they had like a full machine shop.
Nice.
You know, but even Don Garlitz, I remember Don Garlitz in Englishtown, you'd be watching him, he'd be in there honing rods in between runs. He's like honing rods, got a Sun and Hone in his trailer.
Yeah.
Crazy.
You
know,
but, a Sun and machine is one thing, but like a Bridgeport is quite another.
Yes.
Hauling that damn thing around. Yeah, haul that thing around.
Bridgeports, and they're about 2,200 pounds each.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Absolutely.
And the big thing is it's actually very easy to move a Bridgeport, actually. If you can literally just get it up on some pipes, and you can roll it on pipes.
I was going to say, we did them at work here at the job. We had to move them from one part of the building to the other, and that's what we did. We used pipes, and it rolled beautifully.
Slide them on pipes, that's it.
So, Christian, let's get you in here before the summer's out. We'll talk about stuff. We'll catch up.
Yeah, I got to let it transition. I'm actually networking myself. I was just down in PA for the Bloomsburg Truck Show, and I made a few stops at some shops. I've been just kind of networking myself back into sprint cars a little bit again.
Okay, good. And
I'm going to be out of Riverhead on the 22nd. I'm also trying to get involved with Legends cars again, too.
Nice.
So, and the Legends and stuff like that is really building out there in Riverhead. So Riverhead has definitely been, having some good events. So, I'm going to try and get out there and, be more supportive. I got a couple guys out there with some motors. So, I'm just trying to keep this racing thing going.
Well, let's get you in here because you're our local legend. So we want to get you in here and get some face time. All right.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you later.
All right, Christian.
Good to talk to you.
All right. We'll catch you soon. All righty.
Be good.
So long. That was Christian from Mach Modified Motorcycles, machmodified.com. It's a great race shop, and they'll do all sorts of other kind of work, too. They work on street bikes of all types. They're really a full-service shop out there.
Yeah, that's good to know. Do we have somebody in the circle that does that kind of stuff?
Oh, hell yeah. So that's... Boy, what a show! I feel like
we got all kinds of stuff going on.
I feel
today.
like I just made a pass on a nitro bike. Mike, what are you thinking about all of this?
I'm not really a motorcycle guy. I mean, not that I don't like them. I'm not into them around here. My dad, from when I was a little kid, said you're not riding a bike in Long Island, on Long Island, and
smart man.
And that's it. Ever since then, I mean, I ride dirt bikes, but that's as far as I go towards a motorcycle.
Right. I've been riding for a long time, and I finally started telling people, don't. If you're a new rider, don't do it because it's just people are crazy. It really is.
Scary. That flashing again?
It is. So let's do this and say hi. You're all the Motor Mouths.
Hey guys, Bob here.
Hey Bob, what's up?
Listen, I had a comment. I don't mean to bother you.
Don't be silly.
This is why I listen to your program. You get Dina, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get Christian. You get your guests on, and 40 minutes seems like 4 minutes.
It does for us, too.
It flies by, yeah, it certainly does.
And that's just the magic, like Joe said before, that's the magic of, it's a little bit of programming ahead of time, but it's just having the right connections and putting people, you're a people person, Bob, you're a logistics guy, you know that. It's just...
You get that girl who turns a party, it happens to be a female, but you get someone who turns a 7-second quarter. I mean, who does that,
Yeah,
just
I know.
Absolutely great.
And Dina's a 6-second quarter.
Right.
She's even faster.
She was a MotorMouth person 2 years ago.
That's right.
Did Christian get word that he got the bump?
He did, and Christian was beside himself, and he actually publicly thanked you the next week on the show. I guess you didn't get a chance to tune in.
Yeah,
but
I got a little banged up. But
he did publicly thank you.
Tell him I said, see, that's why, he calls in with a little bit of information, and you have to try to troubleshoot it in your head.
Right.
And, he and Joe D and you, of course, you come up with something.
That's what we try to do here. We just try to put things together, get some answers, and if nothing else, spark some interesting conversation.
Absolutely. And I had one question for Matt, your guest.
Mike, but go on.
I think so.
Mike.
Mike Jr.?
Yes, Mike Jr.
Okay. I wanted to hear more about his 70. I knew a guy that had his name was Timmy. He had a 70.
Oh, the GTO.
Yeah, and it was completely different from the 69. It was a completely different riding car. The 69 was like a beast-like, and the 70 had a lot of power, but it was a much smoother power.
More civilized, yeah.
Well, there might have been two different engines.
Maybe a different platform. I don't know.
Well, the the chassis is the same. The 69 might have been, maybe had like a Ram Air 3 or maybe a Ram Air 4.
Yeah,
and the 70 might have been a regular, like a 400 4-barrel or a mile 55. That would have been a big difference in a stock car between those 2 years. Otherwise, they're really virtually the same powertrain.
There's a lot. 69 and 70 should be pretty similar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if Mike Jr. wants to tell us about his rear, his tranny, and his intake, I'll listen to you guys on the radio.
All right.
Sounds
Thanks,
good.
Bob.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye. All right, Mike, tell us about your rear end.
The whole car is stock.
Oh, your tranny.
The whole car is bone stock. I just had the transmission redone. It was giving me some problems that my transmission guy didn't even understand. He said he'd never seen that before, and he redid it, and it works good now.
That's never good to hear. Now I know you want to get the factory AC working.
Yeah, that's the next hurdle I have to jump over is whether I want to buy the old AC compressor that's going to drain all the power in the car and possibly shut the radio off with it, or I want to go new school and not too much strain on the engine with a smaller compressor. But
I think so.
Same mounting points. I think that's smarter.
Joe, there's something that's wild. I put the vintage AC system in my car, which is a 65.
Right.
But the engine's out of a 68. They're all the same engine. Mike could not. Vintage AC does not list a system for a 70. And I don't know what the heck is physically different, but under those two hoods, they do not list it.
It may not be the compressor side of things. It may be the evaporator core. It might be the ductwork.
I mean,
the compressor, pretty much all you got to do is dangle that thing, off a couple of brackets. I think it's got something to do with inside the dash, because the dashboards are different, if I'm not mistaken.
But they offer the 71 and 2, correct, Mike?
Yeah.
Which are also the last 2 years of that body style. They changed it in 73.
True. Yeah, the other possibility is, too, that I know that sometimes if they haven't been able to confirm the fit for whatever obscure, ungodly reason, because you would think, and I've run into this being in just the regular replacement parts business, where like, okay, if it's a 69, if it's a 71, it's got to fit a 70 then, right? And then some obscure little piece of minutia, some bracket, you know what I mean? Some placement, and now it's an exception to the rule.
Well, that's why
and now you just stuck your foot in your mouth, and now you got to take back an entire AC system. You know what I mean?
I get into trouble whenever I try to think. So that's I know that always gets me every time. So.
Well, it also smells a little better too in that.
Yeah.
So what's coming up?
I had misspoke last week and said this week was going to be Cruising with Kendra, but that is that's next week. We have Cruising with Kendra, Ryan Brutt's friend from Hot Rod Magazine. Ryan's from Hot Rod, Kendra isn't. You can check cruisingwithkendra.com, I believe.
Yeah, she's also got a Facebook page
and a Fotshare page. You can go and see
there.
You
go. Yeah, she gets around a number of different cars, gets to talk to different people.
Right.
It's kind of like you know that one on what was it, Channel 11? I think it was that one. Tony there. She goes around and eats.
Right.
Except that this one cruises.
Right.
Which is kind of cool.
Well, for us, we're done. We're going to go out to the parking lot and talk some cars. Stay tuned for Kim and Thunder Road.